The average amount of sunlight anywhere in the world can be worked out. There are rainy seasons and cloudy seasons, but still plenty of light around even when these conditions are taken into account. Some countries get more sunlight than others. In many parts of the developing world, people don't have electricity in their homes. However, there is often lots of sunshine in these countries, providing a plentiful source of energy throughout the year. Here in the UK, we don't get nearly as much sunshine, and even less in the winter months. Some African countries get around 3 times as much sunshine than in the UK, and so are even better suited for turning solar energy into electricity. PV modules are used in developing countries to generate electricity to power all sorts of essential services and equipment that need a reliable power supply. In healthcare, they're used to power vaccine fridges and lighting in health centres. Solar electricity can also power water pumps to help supply drinking water. In schools, the electricity produced by PV modules can provide lighting in classrooms and can also power computers. Kath Peasley has visited some of the places around the world where PV modules make a big difference to people's lives.
It's very, very suitable solar power for Africa because of the climate. There are many areas that aren't on the electricity grid network. There's about 25% of the population in sub-Saharan Africa that don't have access to electricity.
Okay, so the great advantage about this whole system is that you don't need to connect to their national grid.
That's right. So in remote areas, all you need to do is bring along some solar panels, some batteries for storage, and then whatever you want to use, which can be something for medical, or it could be something for, say, water pumping to bring clean water. It can be also in schools where you might then have access for lighting and for computers. In a health centre, they might also be used for operating lights, for lighting. I've also seen them used for, say, training videos, for DVD players, for maternity units. Also for using in communities, it can bring access to communications in terms of using it for your telephone or having it for television and for radio. It can actually be used for households as well, but tend to have a lot less appliances, so it might just be used for lighting in a household rather than here where we have a lot of appliances like hairdryers, tumble dryers, washing machines, which means that the amount of panels that are required in Africa for a house is very small. Somewhere like Sudan, which is consistently sunny the whole year round, is maybe 3 times as sunny as the UK. There are plenty of areas that have a rainy season, like maybe southern Nigeria, but even so there's still a lot more sunshine. If you're using it for a fridge like this, it uses about 500 watt hours over a day.
So can you get that from 3
of these panels here would be what you would need if you're in Nigeria, and only 2 if you were in Sudan. For the UK, to make sure it worked in December, where there's a short number of hours of daylight, then you'd actually be looking at needing 12 of these sorts of panels.
What happens during the night when there is no sunlight?
Yeah, what happens then is that it comes from a battery. So you have a battery like this, whereby in the day the solar panels fill the battery up with electricity, and then in the night the energy that's needed for the fridge or for lighting, whatever you're using it for, will come from the batteries. Once the solar panel is up and operating, it's producing electricity all the time when there's sunshine, and it doesn't have any moving parts, so it requires very, very little maintenance. This is why it's a very good alternative to using a normal electricity generator which is powered by diesel, because then you have to have diesel coming all the time, which can be difficult to transport, difficult to find, and can be expensive. And also the moving parts will need regular maintenance.
So what have we learned? Some countries have more sunshine than others. PV modules can be used anywhere in the world, but they produce most electricity in areas with most sunshine. Many developing countries do not have a reliable national electricity supply. Here, solar electricity can be used to power essential services such as vaccine fridges, lighting and water pumps, as well as household appliances.
So PV modules have a real benefit in places like Africa, where there's lots of sunlight and a limited electricity supply.